Did you get anything from college? Like, or was it just like the reading a book type of thing and kind of being on a schedule?
I
What
don't
did you get
remember
from
anything from college.
No.
No,
What are you?
absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
No, I'm being dead serious. Like, I'm trying to even find like like something that was like, oh, I grew up there. Nothing, dude. Like, I met more people that wanted to party. Like, like people were trying to sell me drugs. Like this, like it wasn't like I didn't learn one thing from there, like at all. The one thing I learned was like
Not
I'm
meant
not
for
gonna.
school.
Yeah, I'm not meant for school. Like, and like it's hard for me. Like, and also one reason why I really do want to finish school because like I want to have kids, right? My kids might not be built like me, like not everyone has that fire in them to be an entrepreneur. Like a lot of people can finish school and make way more than an entrepreneur.
Right.
Like it's not even about the money sometimes, but I told you it's like it's the freedom of life, right? So if I have kids, like I at least want to be like, hey, like you got to finish school, like because it might not be in them, but if I don't finish, how am I supposed to tell them that,
Right.
But I did learn in college, like it's not really like necessary. Like I learned working, like selling phones way more. Like at my 9 to 5, I learned way more about life, about opening a business, about like being yourself, like being true, like more stuff that I need to do now than like actually in school. Like, yeah, it was terrible.
It's crazy. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs come from like the cell phone industry. Like we got Randy or whatever. All right. So on today's Clutch podcast, where we talk about business and entrepreneurship, we got the man, the myth, the legend, one of my childhood best friends, Teddy Tran, and he owns a multiple amount of businesses. He owns MTK Daily City, is that right? Marley's Treats. What's the other ones?
Grills SF.
Grills SF and Phenom,
Yeah.
Phenom and Co. Glad to have you on here, Teddy.
Thank you for having me.
So, couple of things that I like to do to start off in the podcast is, talk about your journey and how you started from, your first business all the way to the, your last business. So tell us about that journey and where you started.
So my first business was Mrcllutch Treats, which is the bakery. That was in 2018. And then I was still working at that point in time, but I wanted to start investing my money and doing things where I could quit that job and start doing something else. So my first one was Mrcllutch Treats in 2018. My friend came up and offered me the option of investing into what they already had going. So they already had a truck and a bakery, but they wanted a bigger one. So they wanted to use my money to roll that into a bigger bakery. And that was my first investment in 2018.
Okay. And then what was your next one after that?
My next one. So at that point, when I first started doing that, my goal was to save enough money and then every year sort of invest into new business. And then eventually, build my own business. Because at this point, I didn't have enough money to go and just open up my own company. I didn't have the experience. I was young. So my goal at that point was to just start investing into smaller businesses that wanted my help and that people that I just got along with. So my second one after that was Grills SF,
Okay.
which is we do reselling of hype clothes, shoes, things like that. And that's just something that I always enjoyed ever since we were kids, was just like dressing nice, Jordans, all that. So I found my path of like, I started investing into businesses that I actually enjoyed doing, or like the bakery. I love sweets. I love the desserts. So I just thought in my head, like, okay, I'm just going to start investing into businesses that I enjoy and I love doing, because that's what people always told you was just do what you love, right? So that was my goal in the beginning. So it was Grills SF. And in the same year after that, I invested into Phenom and Co., which was the jewelry company. Another one where I was really stuff that I was interested in, right? Like jewelry. So I was doing like sweets, then I was doing shoes and clothes, and then I started doing the jewelry. So within that, I would want to say like a year and a half time span, I invested into three businesses, and I in a way I helped them grow in some parts, because like Marley's, I did it. They were able to open up that new location, the brick and mortar that we're in right now. And then with Grails SF, I was able to invest the money, and he was able to use that to completely renovate the location he had, made it a lot nicer. And then with Phenom was a little bit already rolling a little bit. He had offered it to me, I think a few years before that, and I said no because he offered me it a year before, but I was doing the whole Marley's thing at that time, and that was my first investment. So I didn't have a lot of money going around that time. So all my money I was gambling it on this bakery at first. So I ended up getting into Phenom because I moved to LA. I was in LA a lot. So I came back to him, and how I got into that one was because I was buying jewelry off of him. He was working with Ben Baller before. My partner was working with Kenjen was working with Ben Baller at IF and Co. And then I was buying jewelry at IF. I had that connection. He's my sales associate. And then one day he had hit me, and he was like, I wanted to buy something. He's like, I don't actually work for them anymore. I'm actually doing my own thing, but I could actually connect you with someone else, or you could just buy something from me. So, and this is when he was really just beginning. He wasn't really trying to steal me over, but I think I just showed that loyalty. I'm like, no, whatever you're doing, like, I'm just going to mess with you. I'm going to buy jewelry from you. So he saw that loyalty, and I think it was like a few pieces in, he just offered me a stake in the company, and I was like, no, like, it's too soon. I had my money tied up over here, like I said. And then a year later, when I moved out there, I approached him again. And I was like, I need to find some work out here that I want to do and that I would enjoy. And that was the first thing that popped up into my mind. So he let me buy in at this point, but the price was, I think, like 25% more, or like double what he was originally asking. But yeah.
His value went up.
Yeah, it definitely did. So like I missed the train, but I'm glad I'm on it now.
And then you've got right now Mama Trans.
Yeah, I got Mama Trans, which is like, I would call my baby, like my favorite project, because I think this one I actually grew. Like I actually built this one. We borned it. Because all the other ones I invested in, like I was sort of piggytailing off of other people, what they were sort of building and helping them, like their ideas. Because I always felt like I wasn't the most creative. So and at that point I was just starting into business. So I thought like I learn off of others, find their mistakes. And then, when it's my time, when I have more money, more experience, I'll do what I want to do, and I'll do it better without having to make those mistakes, like, because a lot of people, they don't have that opportunity to do that. Right. I did with the connections that I did make. So I took advantage of that. But I was getting a smaller piece for that. Right. So Mama Trans, we opened last year. We just passed our 1 year anniversary in October. So that one, so how that came about was my mom just always had a dream of opening a restaurant. Like she just loves cooking. And I'm over here trying to think of new business ideas to do too. Like there's only so many people you could find to like let you buy in or do this, or even trying to start up a business. Like I didn't know a lot of people who wanted to link up with me or had the funds to, or the vision to do what I did. So I approached one of my best friends, Ken, and I was like, hey, like, what do you think about opening a restaurant for my mom? Right. And the only reason I could approach him about it is because like I didn't know. I was scared. Like I was worried that like it might fail, because this is my first time doing something on my own. But with him, one of my closest friends, like if it failed, he sees my mom as his mom too. So like there was really no pressure on my back. So we ended up opening up the restaurant for my mom, and building the brand, like doing everything, the menus, creating the logo. Like that's my first time doing any of that stuff. And I'm just thinking back on it now, and it was last year, but it felt like so long ago because of all of the obstacles that we had to run through. Like when I first started thinking about doing that, I thought I knew it all. I thought I did these two investments. Like I see how to build a brand, how to build a business. Like Mrcllutch has like a good amount of followers. If I'm not mistaken, like 30,000 on Instagram. Like we are building traction with the jewelry, like 10,000 followers. I'm like, this is easy. like we could do that. Like all I just got, and I see other people online like promoting Vietnamese food and doing things like that, and I'm like, damn, I think I could do that. So but when we got into it, I was like, oh man, like this, like it's not that easy.
Totally something different, right? I mean, it's the same exact thing with me. When I thought I could get into moving, it was just like, I can do this. You know, it's a truck, and it's just people to move the shit into the truck and then do it. But it's a whole different business on there. Now, let me ask you this, Teddy. You got 4 businesses in such a short amount of time, right? What was the motivation behind that? You know, it sounds like you're still your entrepreneur right now. Like, what was the motivation, and did you always want to become an entrepreneur before? Because, you know, beforehand, you know, like everybody else, we had to start off at the bottom. We're working W-2s or whatnot. Was that always the vision that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I would say that was the vision, but it was more of a dream, I'd say. Because, you know, like you work those jobs and you think that's like the end all be all. But my motivation was that I think it was a failure that really maybe caused this motivation, was that the fact that like I was going to, so at that point before Mrcllutch, I was in college. I was going to San Francisco State.
Yep.
So I was going to school, and that was always the goal, was to graduate school and then figure out what to do after that, right? Mm-hmm. But the main goal was school. Somewhere along the line, I ended up meeting my fiance and moving out to LA. I was trying to transfer my credits over to the college over there, but they wouldn't accept me because I didn't have a 3.0. And at that time, I don't know if it's still true, but to transfer in state between a state to state school, you had to have at least a 3.0 for some reason like that. So my only other option was either instead of moving to LA, moving back to San Francisco and then finishing my school there. And this was like 2018, 2019. And in hindsight, if I knew COVID was coming, I could have stayed at state and did I could have completed the online courses there. I had 12 classes left. So, and I was going to school for college for like between community college and SF State, I was going to school already for 8 years. So like you got to understand, like I put in my time, my parents stopped paying for it. I had to start paying for it, like, and I wanted to pay for it to feel like I got to do this, and it's still like it wasn't working out. So I knew school wasn't for me, but I just thought like if I put enough time, like I'm gonna get there. You feel me? Like it was gonna happen. It didn't. It fell apart, right? So I think that was what really motivated me to like become an entrepreneur, because like I didn't have nothing else to do. Like if school's not working out, like and my mindset was like if I don't have a degree, like nobody's gonna rightly give me a high salary,
right?
Unless, because that's what you're told, right? Like you have to go to school, you have to finish, you got to get a degree, and that's the only way you'll make over 6 figures. Like that's just the general law. And then whatever you want to do after, or whatever you want to do on the side, like that's on you, like, and that's a plus. And if that blows up, like you hit the lottery, right? So like that's what you're told, but then like you realize that's not it,
right? You
realize that's not it. So then I think being an entrepreneur, that just put my back to the wall, and I was like, I have to succeed in something else, because if I don't, then like where am I at? Like once your back is on the wall, because I feel like also for me, when I wanted to start a business, but I got scared, was for the fact that like if I had a degree, I just graduated, I just became successful essentially. When you get your degree, right, you're successful like person,
right,
at that point, right? So then like I feel like someone who graduates college, they could just go and try a business that they never tried before, right? And if it fails, oh well, like they're still well off, because they could still go and get that 9 to 5, apply for that, and they'll always be accepted because of that degree, because of that paper they have on the wall, right? For me, it was scary because I felt like I already failed once, right? So like I had that in my head, like I already failed once, like now, like I cannot fail again. So like it made me scared to become an entrepreneur, but at that time, like I really had no choice. So like I had to risk it. And then looking back on it, when you're like 25, like you still feel like you got chances, right? So you're just like, I'll do it, but at the same time you're feeling like you're getting old, like you're stuck in this hard part. So I didn't know what to do, but when it was the only option, I jumped at it. And then ever since then, I can't really stop. Like even if and I still have to keep building on that, because I still have that mentality of like, if all this fails, like I always have like a fear, like is this the end? Like, you know, like will I hit a plateau? So I'm always like having that fear in the back of my head, and then it makes it worse, because like I think about not having the degree, like, right, you know, like I don't have that to fall back on,
right,
essentially. So I think about that, and that just keeps me like being an entrepreneur. I don't even know if it's like, I don't call myself an entrepreneur, because like I said, like I was just investing in stuff. Like I was more of like just trying to stay afloat, trying to hustle, trying to find a way, you know, like, and I think that's what it has been like all all of my life is like, you're asking like, when do you think that started? Is like even when I was in high school, like I was trying to like sell stuff, you feel me? Like if that got me into some trouble, like I had to risk it. Like I had to do it. Like I had a bunch of like, and that was always in me, like to do little business stuff, make it work. Trying to feed my habits of like shopping, going out. Like I wanted to do that. So, and on top of it, like being an entrepreneur, it gave me that route of that freedom of time too. So all of it tied in for me. And ever since then, I'm just like been trying to take it a step at a time. And it's just building one stone on another, because if one stone does fall out, like you still have these other ones to fall back on.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I love that story. I remember you coming back in high school or whatever. You went to multiple different high schools or whatnot, and you were an entrepreneur in the very beginning. From that very beginning, and you talk about these your habits or whatever. Like, is that what kind of influenced you to take these chances and take these risks for all these other businesses and all these other things that you're doing?
Well, for my habits as far as like shopping, wanting to wear nice clothes, wanting to have nice jewelry, like looking at like celebrities and wanting to be like, why can't I do that? But I knew that if I wanted to dress like that and I wanted to live like that, I had to live a different way than how my coworkers were living. I had to, because like I said, throughout this whole time, I'm still working a 9 to 5. I'm still working at the bank. I worked at numerous banks. I was working at AT&T. Then I went back to the bank. Like I'm still working, but I'm realizing like the life that these people are living and the life that they're going home to, like that's not what I want, bro. Right. Like, so like, and I'd be like stressing about it and like, okay, I'll still keep this job, but let me do something else, because like I'm not satisfied. I'm not happy, like I feel stuck. Like I'm not successful doing well in school. It's not easy for me. Like I'm at work, but I'm doing good. Like, but I'm not excelling. Like, and it just like, it's apparent that I don't belong like to work like this, like I'm like bumping heads with my manager. Like they're always like, I see this vision in you, but you're not fulfilling it. Right. Like what? Like I'm getting coached out here by you. And like, I'm thinking about how you're going home. Like, and I'm thinking about how I'm trying to go home and live. Like, how are you going to tell me? So like, I was just like, damn, I'm taking advice from people who I don't even want to like end up being like if I wanted to be mentored by somebody, like I got to do it. I got to be around the people I want to become. Right. Right. So, yeah, that's really how I felt about it.
Now, like for me, like, I consider myself as Asian. You're Asian or whatever. Like our parents growing up, like me being Filipino, my mom or, my family members were like, become a nurse, go to school, get a degree. My brother and sister, they graduated college, and it sucked for me too. Like it really killed me as far as I was, this for me because we went to high school together. I was a highly recruited runner, and I was supposed to go run in a D1 college, and I didn't make it. I got injured. I didn't make it. I didn't go to college, and I kind of let down my parents, and they were just kind of like, oh, man, we bought all these shoes for you, and we supported you with all this running, and you're not even going to go to college. And it's just like, oh, man, I'm a failure. Did you feel like, your parents had influenced you to kind of go to that route, where it's like, go to school, get the degree, and, you're going to make money, you're going to get rich?
Yeah. It's pretty funny because I think like even like that's definitely the route that they told me, right? Like that was the only way, like my dad has his master's degree. Right. So like it's always like, I want you to be better than me. Right. But like I can't even get the bachelor's, like, and I'm over here like trying to like compete with that, right? But that was like always the way that they try to push me to go. And like you're telling your story of how like you're basically the only one between your siblings that didn't, like for me, I was the only child. Right. Like I'm the only option. So like I wish I had a brother that graduated college or a sister. Like I could at least be like, hey, look at them. Like let's celebrate them. But for me, it was like all eyes on me. Like I'm competing with like my cousins, like becoming doctors, like becoming successful. And like, of course, in the Asian culture, like it's always go to school, like become a nurse, become a doctor for sure. And like, for me, it was that, like that's really was my reality. So even to this day, I still feel that. Like I still feel that. And that's definitely like the reason why I stayed in school, like I told you, for 9 years was because of my parents. Like no one like in their right minds going, like I was just going just to like say I was going, like just to say like, hey mom, like I got, because like the degree wasn't there, but at least the school had to be there. And at this point, like I had moved out too. I wasn't even living with them, but like that weight, like I moved out because of like that weight too of that pressure, right? But and then I moved out and it's still on your back, like it's still on your back, like you still got to finish school. And I really carry that all the time because it helps me be like, because this has to work. Because I would say like in the past few years or so, it has really grew like on my parents like being really proud of me and really happy. But like for a long time, it was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, right. You feel me? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you really doing? And they can't see the vision because I can't see the vision either. Right. But you know, I just gotta like buy some time. Like it's gonna work out. Like at least I'm taking care of myself. Like I'm staying out of trouble. Like I think that's what really mattered to my parents as well, as like staying out of trouble. I had like a trouble, like you said, I went to a few high schools. Like I wasn't always like the straight A student like this. Like I was causing trouble doing this. So for me, like staying out of trouble and things like that were important. But even to this day, like I remember, I think it was like a month or two ago, like Steph Curry had, he graduated from college over the summer. Like, and it said like, I think the title's like fulfills his parents' dreams to finish college during the off season or something like that. My dad sends it to me and he's like, he said something along the lines of like, I hope this is like you one day or something. Like, so I'm like, damn, bro. Like I thought we were over the subject. Like, you know, I thought we were like past this already. Like, but yeah, I still carry that. And I think that they always still feel like that. Like they probably wish I finished college too, but they realize also now that like a lot of the successful people around me, like they didn't. Yeah. They didn't, you know, and like as long as and they see who I'm around, you know, I surround myself with a lot of great people, you know, like people they would want me to be around. And then I like pointing out, like, I love pointing out, like, look at him. He went to college. You feel me? Like, look at him. He graduated. Remember he graduated, right? Like, I be pointing that stuff out all the time. But, yeah, I mean, I felt like it was this way or the high when I think, like, I'm trying to prove to them that it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, no, and I can, you know, that's a really, really great way to kind of put it. And I can kind of relate on that story as well, too, when, you know, I think whenever you would pay for school, you would get like this 1099 tax form or whatever. And then my mom's was like, you know, you're not getting this tax form anymore. Like, are you going to school? And I was saying I was going to school in the morning because I was still living with them. And I was doing, I don't know what I was doing, but I was like not going to school, but I was acting like my schedule was, you know, that 8 to whatever, 12, whatever, 1, 2 p.m. or whatever it is. And, you know, I kind of held that and that kind of reminded me like, damn, I'm fucking up or whatnot. But like kind of looking back at hindsight, right? You take a look at hindsight, you know, maybe me and you can relate to it, but looking back at hindsight, would you say that you're happy that you kind of didn't finish school?
If I could, I would. Like if I could have finished.
Do you think that your journey would be different if you finished school?
I don't think so. I think I would finish school and then I would still like, let's say I finish school and I still get a job and I'm still like, it's still in me that that's not the life I want to live. So it might have just been like a detour to where I am today. But at the end of the day, like I don't think it would have stopped me from like the entrepreneurship that I had inside of me was always inside of me. Right. Like I grew up on it. Like regardless, like my mom, I grew up in a salon that my parents, like they opened a business and that's where I grew up in. So it was always inside of me. And my dad like didn't own a business, but he was a district manager for the post offices in San Francisco. So he was still a boss to me, you know? So like they were still like, so it was always inside of me that I was going to do this. But I feel like if I finished school, I don't know, it might have gotten me to different positions, shaking different hands, knowing different people, and my journey might have like veered off in separate different type of businesses. But as far as like me becoming an entrepreneur, I don't think so, because like this is all I wanted to do. I was going to school for business marketing. Like I was trying to just get a degree that said business on it, because that's what I knew I wanted to do was business. I didn't even know what that meant. Like bro, like I didn't like, was I gonna help people like do advertisements? Like I had no clue what business marketing was doing. But I was over here like taking classes like math classes, like a bunch of stuff that I was like, bro, like I just want to learn about business. Like you know what I'm saying? Like this is before like YouTube was really like having a bunch of like people like teaching on their free game like that. You know, it wasn't like that. So it was go to school and learn calculus.
Yeah, and it's just like why in like, you know, and I know this, like, do we ever use anything from high school or anything like that in the real world in any of our businesses?
No, like let's say the thing that I might use the most is like multiplication, and even at this point, like I damn near am way worse now than before, because I'm just on my iPhone doing math now. Like if anything, like it definitely, no, for sure, it doesn't help. But I'm even trying to think like what they could really teach to help us, because like I don't. But even like I'm thinking about myself, but I'm thinking about everybody else too, like who's learning this stuff. Like, how is it even helping them, like in their careers? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't think it is at all. It's crazy. Now, your businesses that you're invested in, right? Like, how do those opportunities kind of come aligned? Because those are like established businesses or whatnot. For me, I created my business, and from the ground up, you have business opportunities that kind of came to you. How did that happen?
Well, like I said, most of them were just connections that I had, or I already had a relationship with them, where it was almost like, hey, it's almost like they wanted to, some of them, I'm not speak for all of them, but some of them wanted to maybe revamp their business, and they needed a little investment. They just seen that I, of course, got along with them first. Mm-hmm. We had that relationship. It was really just the relationship that we had. People were going based off of that. Because a lot of them took a chance on me. I didn't have no like history or anything, like, but they brought me into their company, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them just needed the money. Mm-hmm. Like, like it depends on what the business was, but they wanted me in it, and it was mostly the connections that I was connected, and they brought me in.
So was there any requirements for you to kind of get into the business? Like, did you take a look at like the P&L? Did you take a look at what the revenue was or anything? Or was it just like a thing on trust? Like, look, man, like here's 25 G's, here's a 50 G's, give me this, and then we'll do that? Or did you actually, you're new to business. Did you dive down? You just take a look at the P&L and then you talk to like accounting people and your partners or whatever, whoever it was, right? How was your process when you did that?
All right. So, I mean, I'm not going to name no businesses out, but I'd say in general, yeah, when I first started, it was more on trust, right? Mm-hmm. It was more on trust because I needed somebody to trust me. So like my trust levels for them were more like, okay, like I see that you're successful. I see what you're doing. It was the eye test, like look how they're doing, and just trust them on that. Here's the money. I'm hoping and praying that it's going to come back. Like you trying to throw, like at that point it feels like a Hail Mary, like, but you already feel it. But at that point, like, when you're at that age, you're like, and people are working 9 to 5s, or they're still in school too, and you're just able to get in an investment. Because like a lot of the mentors that I do have or work with, they're like 5-6 years older than me, right? So like some of my business partners are a little older than me, so at that point I trusted them mm-hmm. to mentor me. And then after that, like as it slowly went on, I started to like have a lawyer look at like their numbers, like, and what it was, because a lot of times I just trusted them off of what they said would happen, right? Mm-hmm. But what I didn't take into account was like the future. Like that's not always the same, like how the economy was gonna go, or us, like if we're like revamping the business, like how's that gonna transfer over, So I didn't take any of that into account. I always thought I was like, how much profit do you guys make last year? Or even the word revenue would throw me the hell off, like millions? Oh, bro, like I just need a few, like, like I just need a little bit, like. So after that, like I started to like do a little more, and I wouldn't even negotiate at first, I just be like, oh, here, like, like whatever my part is, I'll sign right here. Mm-hmm. But eventually it started being like, I need more for that, mm-hmm. Or nah, like this is how much you really doing, like you not really. This is a nice looking number, but what are you really taking home?
Exactly. Net profit.
Like, yep. Like and then I'm gonna be like, what am I taking home? And there's a lot of things in that I started when I took those steps. I'd be like, okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. And I'm better, but still I like to take the risk, because I feel like at the same time, like a lot of opportunities are fair and far, but like you have to take that risk, because if you don't, then you don't know when that opportunity is going to come again. Right. Because the money, it's always might be up or down, but like I said, the opportunities aren't always going to come. And I think I learned off of how I was talking about the Phenom, was like when he came to me and offered it to me, like I should have took that risk, right? I should have took that risk, but I was like overthinking it. Like I just put all this money into Marley's. If I do this, like I could really like I could really go broke,
Right.
Like, and I wouldn't know what to do. Like I said, I did have nothing to fall back on. So, yeah.
So now, entrepreneur, the journey is tough. It's rough. I know that we're speaking before this when we're, eating lunch, like, the obstacles that you have to go through as an entrepreneur. what were some of those obstacles that that you see as an entrepreneur that you've been experiencing? Because I know for me, when I took on to do my own thing and run the business, and then we're coming from W-2, and we don't really have to deal with those fucking huge problems or whatnot. What are some of the differences that you see and some of the obstacles that you see as an entrepreneur versus a regular W-2 employee?
Like, what do you mean by that? Like
what were some big obstacles that you faced as an entrepreneur, like investing in those companies or whatnot? Like, what was some big things and hurdles that you had to get over? Because, as a W-2 employee, you don't deal with none of that shit, right? What are some of the big things that you deal with as an entrepreneur that are different?
Not having for sure check, probably. Like, it's like so many ups and downs. Like, it's really a emotional roller coaster. Like, you're not just checking in for 8 hours a day. Like, you're checking all day.
Right.
Like, your mind's on go. You're the one dealing with the issues, and also like you have a W-2, you going to work, you're making money. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to work, I might be losing money. I might be going into it trying to stop losing as much money as I am. Like trying to fix problems. It all takes away from that P&L. So that's mainly the biggest thing. But also having to like work. If I go to work and I don't like this coworker, screw it. Like, don't look at me, bro. Like, but like if I'm having an issue with an employee that I really need him, like, I gotta learn how to like maneuver, become like more. I went from being an employee to like a CEO. You understand? So like, it's just like a lot of things that the difference is like very far apart. Like every issue that like a main issue that I'm running into is like working with partners as far as like what the vision is, like the model. Like, you're the one creating the model for the business at this point, right? Like, when you're a W-2, you just follow the model. There's no, like I said, and I was never always a creative mind. Mm-hmm. So like learning to do that was also like a huge roadblock for me, was like creating ideas, ping ponging with people, because now you're at the table. They expect you to like bring your ideas to the table, but at first I was like, I thought I was just bringing the money,
right.
Like, I thought I was just investing. That's all I wanted to do. Like, I don't really have no ideas like that. Like, I don't want to ruin the company. There's a lot of pressure on that, right? But as an executive, you have to make those decisions. Mm-hmm. Like, it falls on you and it falls on your lap, and that's just it comes like the power that you do inherit, but also like you people are expecting that from you now, is to take care of issues, find resolutions, find new ideas, things like that. And yeah, like as a W-2 worker, like it's a for sure check. Right. Like, I might be doing all this stressing, and then I might lose the company in a year or two, Right. Like, it's like we're working for free, but not only that, it's more than free, Like, we're paying for, it's your time, and like I said, there's only so many opportunities that, like, wasting it on this, you might be missing another opportunity. So yeah.
9 years of college. Is that right?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why did it take so long?
Like, but you're telling me like you were probably making it seem like you was going to school, like things like that. Like, I was for sure skipping class. You know what I mean? Like, to the point where like I wanted to move out just so I could sleep in, because like, what are you doing home Tuesday, Thursdays? Like, what, or the worst one is like, it's late at night, like my class 6 to 9, like I want to go home. so I'm out of here. Like, I gotta go somewhere else to live, Like, so I was really going to school though. Like, I was. I would sign up for all the classes. I would go buy the books. Like, the first day, like I would do it. Like, I would sign up for these classes and really try. And I tried, dude, because that's something that I really wanted. I'm telling you, like, I'm 12 classes away. I don't know. I think it might be 60 classes to graduate or something. Like, I'm telling you, like, I was close. Like, I didn't want to quit, but it was so hard. Like, I'm telling you, like, especially when you don't really apply yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, you really don't apply yourself. Like, it's tough. Like the homework was crazy. Like, they wanted me to like respond to 2 people's posts and then write your post and then make sure people respond to it. Like, bro, like it was like, and I get mad, and then like, we're in college. Like, we want to go out. We want to drink. Like, we're going to party every Saturday. We're going to EDC. Like, we're going to Vegas for the first time. Like, we're doing all these things on top of it, have homework. Like, I'd rather do that now than before, right? Like, I'd like right now, like, I'm not going to, like, I would like try and go back and finish it if I really wanted to, just because I still feel like if I was to do that, like, I'd feel really proud of myself too. Right. Because that's something that was really difficult in my life. And like, I would want to complete that too, but I don't want to go back and start messing around too. Like, Kathy, my fiance, is is in school right now, and I see her doing 2 years of it, like nursing school, and I'm like, nah, hell nah. Like, I praise you, because like I could never.
Right.
I could never. You know, like what she does is crazy, and like, and then I start to realize like maybe that like she'd be reading and studying for 2 hours, and she's like, I don't know if I remember. She'd be going taking the test, and like I'd be, oh, that was me, I remember that. But she'd be going to take the test, and she'd get an A, and I'd fail. So I'm like, what is not like connecting? You know, like I really thought I was like special, like I needed some help, like it wasn't for me. So like I would try, like, but like to get back to your point, like 9 years of like those semesters fly by fast. You know, when you get a few W's, like
withdrawals.
Yeah, you get a few W's on your transcript, and you gotta then like the third one you usually gotta be like, all right, I gotta try, because like I'm gonna get cut from this if I don't make it. You know,
right?
So like I was at Skyline, CSM, all the schools around here. You know, like, and I tried, but you know.
So like for me, I don't use nothing from college. And I probably use a little bit of like communications, and a lot of the things that I got was from being in sales. You know, me and you both worked in cell phones or whatnot. Hey guys, if you really like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. This will help the channel grow drastically. Share this to 5 different people that you think can benefit from it. Now back to the video. Did you get anything from college? Like, or was it just like the reading a book type of thing and kind of being on a schedule?
I don't remember anything from college.
No. What are you?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
No, I'm being dead serious. Like, I'm trying to even find like a moral, like something that was like, oh, I grew up there. Nothing, dude. Like I met more people that wanted to party. Like, you know, like people were trying to sell me drugs. Like this, like it wasn't like, I didn't learn one thing from there, like at all. The one thing I learned was like, I'm not meant for school. Like, and like, it's hard for me. Like, and also one reason why I really do want to finish school, because like, I want to have kids, right? My kids might not be built like me, you know, like not everyone has that fire in them to be an entrepreneur, you know, like a lot of people can finish school and make way more than an entrepreneur, you know,
right?
Like it's not even about the money sometimes, but I told you it's like it's the freedom of life, right? So if I have kids, like I at least want to be like, hey, like you got to finish school, like because it might not be in them, you know, but if I don't finish, how am I supposed to tell them that, you know?
Right.
But I did learn in college, like it's not really like necessary. Like I learned working, like selling phones way more. Like at my 9 to 5, I learned way more about life, about opening a business, about like being yourself, like being true, like more stuff that I need to do now than like actually in school. Like, yeah, it was terrible.
It's crazy. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs come from like the cell phone industry. Like we got Randy or whatever.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Now, those first couple of businesses that you had, right? You're an investor in those businesses, correct? Mm-hmm. And then the business are you still kind of an investor in Mama Trans, or are you kind of more in the day to day?
No, I'm more in the day to day. So like I fully, with my partner, we fully own that and we run everything about that. So it's a lot different.
Now, like that difference on there, right? Remember you were just talking about the differences in the business, like the difference in like really running it and really hiring it. And hiring people, I'm sorry. Like, how is that? How did that differentiate from like the investor side? And did you know you're getting yourself into that when you got into Mama Trans?
Well, as an investor, like they don't really expect much from you for the most part. Like if you make it known, like I'm busy, because at the same time, like the reason why I wanted to do these investments wasn't because I wasn't lazy or like didn't want to do it or things like that. Like I wanted to be able to, like I'm like learning how to become an entrepreneur. Like everyone's telling you need multiple sources of income,
7 types of sources.
Yeah, you feel me?
Bullshit.
So I was trying to like do that. I was trying to like get my hands in every single pot, and also because if I fail in one, like I said, I got all these other ones, right? So I wasn't really committing myself to the investments, right? With Mama Trans though, it was full commitment on my end, because if I didn't do it, then nobody else was gonna do it, and nothing was gonna happen. Rent's not gonna get paid, like, and you realize like how every day matters, right?
Right.
The team really relies on you. It really helps that I have my business partner Ken, because he helps with like, he has it with me, or even if I can't do anything, he could take over everything, or if he has to go on vacation, I could take over. But that helps a lot, first of all, to have. So I still haven't fully like expanded to where I'm like doing something fully 100% on my own, because I'm still getting to help him. Obviously my mom's running it from like the inside, like she's cooking, but she could be there with the employees, and that's someone I could trust. Right. So like but yeah, I have to make sure payroll is done on time on a certain date.
Right.
there's a lot of things that need to be ordered, food. Have to make sure the bank account's okay. Like we're not close to overdrafting because this is coming through or that is. When are the payments coming in?
That happens.
You deal with a bunch of crazy stuff like with the restaurant industry, like DoorDash. Like people are like calling in and like credit card, like telling I didn't get them that food. Then you gotta like send the receipt, like a bunch of stuff that's like and first of all, like it might be hard that because it's like a restaurant too. Right. You know, maybe if I opened up my own jewelry store, it'd be a little different. I could take a day off, you know, like, oh, we're closed. But like the restaurant, you got to be open these days at these times. Like, and stuff always breaks, man. Like stuff always breaks. Like I feel like stuff's like just this week alone, like me being home here, like the fridge has broken and the ice maker's not making ice. Like things like that. Like why do I get...
It's an expense.
Yeah, like, you know, like it all comes from that, the PL. So... yeah, it's a lot different, and I don't know if I like one more than the other. Of course, I like being the owner more because you get more money and you have a little bit more control. But yeah, and being an investor was fun too. You know, like I got to be part of it, but still step away, give my input. But at the end of the day, yeah, you do want to do your own thing. That's the goal, right?
Right.
That is the goal, and it should be the goal for everyone is to do something for yourself too, because you're gonna take home the most, and you have your own. You could push your own vision, you know? It's not somebody else's dream, maybe. Right.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, what is your, you know, I would say, what's your most profitable business out of all the four?
The jewelry.
Jewelry?
Yeah, probably the jewelry. The jewelry. So I mean, like during, like let's say maybe during COVID, it's different. Mm-hmm. You know, like I would say pre-COVID, probably the jewelry. Mm-hmm. And then during COVID, I would say Grail's SF was taking off. People were coming and buying a bunch of clothes.
Right.
You know, out of the EDD was hitting.
The
EDD was hitting, and people wanted to shop. So they were shopping. So that year went crazy on that, you know. And then I think it'll fade back into jewelry. But at this time, yeah, I would say the jewelry in general.
I gotta ask you. You like to buy jewelry. You got you know, bust down. You know, I've always been a fan of all your jewelry. You know, do you get a discount or anything like that?
Well, I'm paying at price. So whatever at cost, I'm paying whatever cost is. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean that is my discount for like buying it. Becoming part of the company was that I just get it at cost. Whatever the labor cost is, the diamond cost is, it's at wholesale too. So obviously we're getting it for wholesale, so I could use it, and then I make my own pieces. Or if we have a trade-in or something like that, I'll offer them a low price, and if they'll take it, then they'll take it. You know, so I get discounts that way.
So, but that's pretty cool though.
It's still expensive though.
Yeah, it's still expensive. No, it's super expensive.
Yeah.
Like so. Because I love jewelry too, and it's very interesting or whatnot. But like, as far as, you know, the stuff, it's considered. I mean, I would say it's considered like a marketing tool. Like when I remember when you know, when we hung out and then we went on vacation together and whatnot, I was like, damn, like, you know, your stuff looks really sick. Like I want a piece too. Yeah. You know, essentially it's like a marketing cost on there. So, you know, I wouldn't say that. You know, I would say that it's like an investment essentially. Yeah. It's more so of an investment because you can kind of sell the products, because when people see it, you know, it's just like, damn, you know, that shit is tight. What is a chain like that you're wearing right now? What does that typically cost for somebody that's not getting it at cost for you?
This, I'd say a Cuban around this size, this length, maybe around 40,000.
40,000? Mm-hmm. But that's what you sell it out to the public.
Yeah.
Got it. And
I would say so.
Now, I mean, as far as the jewelry and everything like that, I know that what is like some pieces that people like, what's the most popular piece that people like to buy?
Well, like, because you see stuff like this,
yeah,
and I wish I could sell this stuff every day,
right?
Because I wouldn't be here sitting talking to you. I'd be on a beach somewhere, bro. Like this is not like what people are usually coming in and buying all the time. They're buying more like smaller pieces, you know, like nameplates, crosses. Those are our most popular pieces, is like those everyday pieces that people wear, that like, because a lot of my clients are just 9-to-5 people, you know, or they're getting gifts for people for the holidays. So yeah, the most popular pieces are like smaller pieces.
Oh really? So like, cause you know, whenever I think of a jewelry, like we have this perception, right? We have this perception of like when people are jewelers or whatnot, they got people that are coming in and they're getting custom pendants $100,000, bust down everything, watches, everything like that. Like, that's not on the everyday?
No.
No.
Nah, I wouldn't say so. I mean, do you see? I don't think we see anybody like usually out here with like a lot of jewelry on like that.
Well, you can't.
Yeah.
Out here regardless.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, like they're buying a lot more smaller pieces, things like that. I mean, the bigger pieces we don't see as often.
Oh wow. Okay. Now, as far as on that jewelry side, right? Like, jewelry is for sure. It's marked up. What are some of the markups that are typically on like jewelry or whatnot? Like 20, 30%, 40% or anything like that?
I would say like 10%, maybe 10 to 20, depending on it. But yeah, but even at some people, like, this is like a strategy that we like have going sometimes. Like when it's slow, we even lower our prices a little bit more, even sometimes at cost too to the client, for the fact that is like we need to get our stuff out there, right? So like we'll mark it up depending on what the market is too. Like gold is always going up. As far as watches, which are always the most, besides, like, I should have said that was watches. Like, people are always coming in for watches too. They always want to watch. And that always goes up and down with the market. Right. So it depends. Like watches sometimes could be marked up like double, or sometimes it could be marked up 10 times, right? So it really depends on the item, what it is.
Now, like, because I got a couple watches too or whatnot, but investments, right? Investments, when they talk about like a watch, gold, people say buy gold, buy silver, buy the watch. What is the best and sound investment if you ever want to resell any of your pieces of jewelry?
As far as like a watch?
A watch.
Yeah, definitely. 100% a watch. Like, that's like, you could definitely say that's an investment, is the best investment, right? Unless you're getting like these other chains at cost, because you're always going to lose because of the labor. Like, there's no way. And the labor is what costs like most of the money, is like creating these chains and stuff. You're getting charged a lot on the labor, right? But the materials itself, like if you go buy it yourself, like the gold, you want to go buy yourself a gold bar that weighs this much and create this yourself, like you can't do it, right? So you're paying somebody, the professional, to do it. So that's the markup that you're paying, is the labor, because they're able to do it, right? But as far as investment wise, though, I would definitely say a watch. But I'm not the one to say like you should go buy this watch and invest in that, because it's always like it's like playing with the stock market too, right? Like, especially when you're playing with like higher end watches, we're talking like over 100,000 or like 80, like those you could lose 10K here and there really quick, Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's like a sound investment, but there are definitely certain pieces that will always be a sound investment, right? But like, let's say I say this presidential, right? A Rolex presidential, that's almost like very famous, very popular as like a great investment watch, right? Yeah. But if I told you, I recommended my buddy buy that maybe like a year ago, and it was the height of the watch market. I don't know if you follow that a lot, but it was really high last year. I recommended to him, like, that's cool. Like, you can't go wrong with it, right? As soon as that, it started dropping, right? The economy started dropping. So he lost like 5K, like if he waited like another 6. So how am I going to tell him this is a sound investment? And he goes, buys it, and he's like, bro, when am I going to make money off of this? I'm like, I don't know if you're going to get your money back. So like, it's not always the best investment, but as far as like all of it, but I buy the jewelry not for investment, I would say. I want to call these like heirlooms. Like, I want to pass these on, like maybe if it's worth something to my kids later on, it is, but I really want to pass on the jewelry. I don't find myself ever selling it. If I do sell it, it's because I want to trade up to something else. Right. I don't know when I'm gonna stop loving wearing jewelry like this. People are like, you're getting too old for that. Like, things like that, but I still love it. And I still love, like, and I still enjoy it. And the great thing about it is, like you said, like, it's part of my brand now. Yeah. Right. So I need it. It works for me. People are gonna always see me with it.
Yeah, no, like for sure, because like the pieces are super timeless, especially like the Prezi. I got the Prezi too or whatnot, and like it's just a super timeless piece. And like when you put it on, it hits. It's like you're different. It feels different. No, right?
Like I was telling her earlier, we were driving here, and I was driving like this, and I was like, damn, it looks good. Because I honestly never really take this out. The time and climates that we're in right now, like, it's dangerous out there. And at the same time, like, I'm still smart about it. And when you're wearing this out, you got to be on 10, things like that, toes and stuff. And I don't always want to live like that, you know?
Yeah.
So like, but when I was like, oh, I'm doing this interview, I got to put this watch on. And when I put it on, yeah, you get that extra, like that oomph, right? Like and because like we always looked at this watch as like,
growing up, right?
Like a milestone of like, we made it. Right. We made it. Like it for me, it was like, if I had this watch, like, or because you've seen other people with it, right? Like your favorite celebrities, they had this watch, right?
Uh-huh.
They had this watch. So you're like, that's like a status quo.
Yeah.
Of like what it is. So yeah, it is very timeless. So to me, like, I love it. And I think like I'll always buy watches at least. Like,
yeah.
And like jewelry wise, I might slow down on that because I have what I have. You can only wear so much. And like I said, the time and climate we're in right now, it's like you can't even wear stuff out without getting like robbed. So
exactly. No, I mean, for sure, you know, me and you growing up as kids, it's like, man, like, you know, we get that Rolex, like
we went and bought jewelry together, like probably our first few pieces, like at Exotic, you know,
yeah.
like we would come back like feeling juiced, you know, like we did, and who knows what we had on at that point, you know, like, but we were juiced, like, so like, and like you know, I still chase that high.
Yeah.
I still chase that high because it feels so good. You know, it's like getting in a brand new car, driving off the lot. It's like getting these pieces that you, and then I think back like, damn, I used to want that. Like I used to really want that. Like even like I just got a new Mercedes like last year, and I was like, damn, I remember I used to like say like this is my all end car, like I'm dreaming of this car, right? And I think back, I'm like, nah, that was 2 years ago, bro.
Right.
You know, like, and time moves quick,
and it's just going.
Yeah, so like you when you get to these pieces, these possessions that sometimes people say might be a waste of money, this and that, it keeps me going.
Yeah.
You know, like it really keeps me going because if I don't get this feeling, like where else can I find it? You know, like, but I don't know, it's unexplainable to me. Like the high that you get from like getting a piece like a Prezi, you know, like people, you'll never forget that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I can relate to that as well too. You know, I always want to get to the next level, and these are like little milestones that say, hey, you know, not everybody can buy that.
Yeah.
Not everybody can afford that or whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's just a little milestone. Essentially, it's like a little trophy, and just to remind yourself, like, you know, we're doing it, we're making it, we're making things go by or whatnot. And it's funny that you said the climate, you know, the climate, especially we're in. I caught myself, and that's why you actually see me on my phone. I actually posted the picture of us earlier in the podcast like this, and I was like, oh shit, no, let me just go ahead and take that off. Oh. I was like, I took that off immediately, and I was just like, and I had to grab my phone. I'm just like, oh no, fuck no, like let me go ahead and take that off. So yeah, that's crazy. But you know, also I can also relate to you as well too, as far as you know, some of the things that like that we like to do, and I'm sure that you get the same exact high from it, is our tattoos, right?
Yeah.
So like, tell us a little about like the tattoos and everything like that, and like, does that kind of get you on the same high as like jewelry too?
It hurts, so I wouldn't say it gets me on the same high to like maybe after, because whatever jewelry gives me feeling, the tattoos give me opposite in the time being. Uh-huh. But it's funny because well, first of all, I got basically my full body tatted up except for my left arm and my left leg. Everything else, my full body is done. But I remember I got to a milestone, let's say, like, but it does give me a high. It does give me a high, but not the same high as jewelry, I'd say. But it's more of a different one. And let me explain it. Is like when I first got my hand tattoo. I remember I had this number in my head. Like if I make this amount of money, if I get to this point, like I'm gonna get my hand tatted, right? Like I'm like, so I hit it. So I'm like, I'm gonna get my hand done. And then like I wouldn't say like it's a high, but it's more of an addiction. And then like it starts leaking. Yeah. So and then I was like, and then I started thinking about my neck. So then I started thinking about like how ready am I to risk it? You know, because you're always told, and I still get this question, is like, where do you work? Or like, what do you do? Or like, so like, you know, like once you really commit yourself to these type of tattoos, as you would know, is like, there's an image that comes with you that like there's no fallback plan. There's no degree no more. You know, like people aren't going to hire you because you don't got a degree. And now people are definitely not going to hire you because of your tattoos, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's what you're always told, right? Like, thankfully it's came around a little bit more, but it was almost like taboo before. Right. So I got to my point where I'm like, I remember like years ago though, like maybe even a few years ago, I was like, damn, that's clean. Like I wish I could tattoo my neck. Like I wish I could do that. Like, and they look so happy. Like they look, you know, like I want that too. I want that for me, but I don't want to do it and, you know, ruin my life or whatever it comes along with it, you know? But then I get to the point where I'm like, dang, like I think I could do this. Like, I think I got myself for the rest of my life, you know, like,
Right.
I think I got me. But even if I don't got me, like, I believe in myself so much that, like, this won't matter no more.
Right.
This won't matter no more because you're just looking at me and my face, and you're looking at me and my history, you know, and me as a brand, or let's say, you know. So I would say these tattoos are milestones too, because, you know, you reach to a point you're like, I could tap my hand.
I could tap the back of my
Yeah,
head.
exactly, right? So, like, you don't do that unless you really feel confident in your ability to be self-sufficient, right?
Right.
Like, you know, because, like, now nobody could hire you is what you're telling yourself, right? It's
Yeah.
what everyone else is telling yourself is like, you can't get a job anymore.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, and like I said, people ask me like, where do you work, like, what, and they'll almost like side eye me in a way it's like, damn, why would they hire you? Like, why would someplace hire you? I'm like, I think I look normal, bro. And then it's crazy because I know, like, all my boys who are doing stuff or have jobs too, they're tatted too, you know, like,
Yeah.
so, like, it was always around me too. So, like, I mean, to answer your question, it gives me a high, but it's more of like, yeah, I'm addicted to it for sure.
For sure. I actually made a video about that, and we're going to make a video as my expensive habit or addiction or whatever, and it's tattoos as well. But, I mean, I got to also say, right, you know, whether it's tattoos or it's also jewelry, it's almost like a marketing piece, right? Because, like, if I'm an entrepreneur or whatever, and, like, I say, okay, damn, he's got tattoos, he's got a tattoo on his neck, what does he do? If you're able to afford all that stuff, what does he do? You know, and it's a conversation starter and everything like that. And it's the same exact thing with like a watch. You know, somebody comes in and they've got a really nice watch, and it's like, okay, he's got a Prezi, $40,000, $50,000, whatever it is, you know, what do you do? And I've been stopped, you know, numerous times and had a conversation with people, and I tell them about the businesses that I'm in, not knowing what type of partnerships it could lead into, because it's a really good conversation starter. Have you ever had anybody that came in and was like, you know, like, oh, what do you do? And like they ended up becoming a customer from you?
Yeah, all the time. I mean,
Yeah?
I think, like, yeah, a lot of times I'd be pushing the jewelry stuff a lot. So whenever they ask me, I'm like, yeah, I do jewelry. Or even if they see me with the tattoos and the necklaces and things like that, they'll be like, oh, you're a jeweler?
Yeah.
Either that or you a rapper.
Right.
I don't know. Like, you know, so like, so yeah, it does help me, but it makes me more approachable to a certain group of people. And these are also actually like the people that I might be wanting to talk to. Right? Because,
Yeah.
like, if you see me and you run the other way, like, we're not going to get along anyways, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so you just save me some time.
Right.
You know, like, if you don't understand these tattoos and you don't understand why I did it, then I don't feel like understanding you either. You know, like,
Exactly.
Like, if you're not open-minded to, like, even recognizing me or, like, trying to approach me and getting to know me, some people will still, like, be super judgy about the tattoos, but
Yeah.
then they'll ask me and they'll get to know me, like, okay, maybe I open the door for them to realize, like, not everyone has to be a certain way just because they're tattooed, right?
Right.
And then, yeah, I realize now, and it brings me to people that I do want to meet, like I said.
Yeah.
Because I do realize also, like, being in business or doing business, like, you want to do business with people that you're going to get along with.
Yep.
Right? And that's the thing. Like, you want to be able to know if you could go and get a drink with this dude after.
Exactly.
You know, like, you can we hang out? Because, like, I made that mistake at first. Is like, I started doing business with everyone, you know, like, because I wanted to make money.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do this. And then my most unsuccessful businesses are the ones that with the people I don't get along with, right?
Right.
And I always thought that it would never be about that, because you're always told, like, don't get into business with your friends.
Right.
Right? Because why? But we get along, right? So, like, I sort of bring that along in me into the business world. Is like, I only want to do business with people I get along, and then I'll hear out, like, whatever your business is or whatever it is, right? Because if we don't get along, then we're not going to even, that's just the first step. Like, the vision of a business is so much higher than that. And if you don't even understand a person to begin with, like, how can you guys do business together?
Right, and I 100% agree with you. I've had, you know, some failed businesses as well too, where it's like, I don't get along with this person, and I just thought that because you're over here and you do this or whatever, then, you know, the business is going to work. But at the end of the day, if the business is going to really scale and be successful, you have to get along with your business partners.
Yeah,
right?
well, because at first, though, you think that you can get along or do business with somebody that you don't get along with, essentially because you're bred to work a 9 to 5, and I'm getting along with a few people at work. You know, like, there's a lot of people at work that I just never got along with, and that's goes back to why I didn't think that, like, working 9 to 5 would ever work for me. I never really got along with most of my managers, things like that. And you're just taught, like, and then doing business, of course, you're like, this is my job.
Mm-hmm.
This is my job. So I have to just get along with this dude. I have to get along with this girl. Like, we all have to just like even if it does, like, we don't get along, like, we have to make it work for business, right? But no, you're a business owner. You could do whatever the hell you want.
Yep.
Like, if I don't like you, I don't want to do business with you. You know,
you
like,
pick and choose.
Yeah, like like when you're at work, a W-2, you got to listen to your manager. You know, I don't like you. Okay, the manager's gonna be like, you quit, and you could be on your way, and then you're out of a job.
Right.
Right. But here, like, you once you really get into the groove of like being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, like, don't be afraid to say no.
Right.
You know, like, don't be afraid to say no to people like that like, it might not work out, bro, and that's perfectly fine. And even if they don't understand that too, like, that tells you a lot about them.
Yeah.
You know, like, and
being upfront about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, being super, super upfront about it. Now, as far as, you know, gotta ask you, you know, jewelry, that everything you have on right now, how much does that cost?
Maybe like 130, 140.
$140,000
around there
of all the jewelry.
Like market price, yeah.
$140,000. Wow. Now, crazy too. So you got 140 right there. Also, another crazy thing, like a little flex. Like, people don't know this, but also, like, the tattoos. The tattoos are hella expensive too. How much do you think you spent with Brian, right? Because, like, I had Brian on the podcast the other day, and we're going through all the tattoos that I have, right? And I'm like, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Now he charges 2,500 per session or whatever.
I would say, market price is like, let's say, like, the value of that,
the
right?
Value
Just like,
right?
I'm saying, like, I'm giving you like the value around what this would be, but like the value of like the tattoos, like, let's just say, like,
you got more.
120. I don't know. What did you guys come up with?
I the value of it. I mean, 25. I mean, I know you got more sessions than I
Like,
do.
let's say, like, the leg is like, what do you think the leg? Like, the leg is like 16 sessions.
16 times 25. I mean, those are it's up there.
I'm
right?
talking about like absolutely over six figures for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, and I've been doing that for like 10 years now.
10.
So I've been doing it, I think, for like 10 years. Ever since Brian was 20. How old is he now? Like 29?
He's 29, so 9 years.
So 9 years I've been getting tatted, yeah.
We've been going at the same time with Brian, and you know, I had him on here the other day too, and you know, I love him so much because he's basically given us the best prices that.
Hey, well, no, cause look, one, like, I invested my body to him. Two, like, he's really good. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but like, we talk about this when I tell him, like, and I look at my arm, I'm like, damn, this is sort of weak, bro. Like, compared to like what, because I be seeing arm pieces that he do, like sleeves that he does now. I'm like, damn, that's wet. That's hella nice. And I be looking at my arm. I'm like, what the hell? Why? so like I put because like you could tell by like the smoke. Usually the smoke, his smoke now is like a lot different.
Crazy.
So like on my leg, it goes different. Like the clouds, he does different now. So like. I paid what I paid back then, and I'm locked in, bro. So, you know, and he raised me. Like, I think when I first started getting tattooed, I think it was like $650. I think.
What does he charge you now?
He charges me $1,000 now.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's cool. I told him, I said,
yeah.
if you want to charge me more, because like the thing is with me, he doesn't really get me in as much because like I'm a cheaper client.
No, so. He literally tells me, he's like. He has like these small clients like us that are still getting tatted by him that he has to lock in that price, and he spaces us out, like only book them like once a week or like twice a week.
No, not even once a week, like once a month.
No, I'm saying but like one of us a week. Yeah, you know, like me, he'd book you maybe once a week, and then somebody else that pays $1,000 like a week. So like he spaces it out more. So I'd be trying to get in them double books, but after I think I'm taking a break right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was supposed to go to TJ, but I didn't have the time. I had a job. I paid for all his deposits. Dude, or whatever.
I had dinner with the photographer dude, and he said I flew out to from Boston for this, and Steve's like flaking.
I paid everything, so I paid all the deposits or whatever, and then I paid for his ticket, paid for everything. So I made sure that. You know, I had to make sure that business was straight over here before I went over there. But it just so happened that I got a government contract and that I had to work, I had to make sure that was straight before I left. I was also supposed to go to the Philippines. I had to cancel that as well, too. But, I mean, you know, business is kind of first. You know, I couldn't really fuck around, so I had to make sure I got that taken care of.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny, right? It's super, super funny that, you know, you talked about getting certain pieces when you, like, certain revenue or making a certain amount, right?
Yeah.
Are you ever going to get the front of your neck?
Nah,
No?
I don't think so. What y'all think?
I
don't know about the front of the neck. I think the side of the neck. Maybe this side of the neck, but I really feel like I would probably get this eventually, but not like it's still gonna get to the front, but the front, I don't know.
No?
Why don't you get the front?
I mean, I plan to, but
the front?
Yeah, that's like, but like, remember me and you were saying, like, once you get to like I wanted to get like to a certain amount of money that I was making before I hit this.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I still see clients on a day in day out basis, but you know, they see me for something different because when I talk to them and like they hear me speak, like, you know, on the outside, you know, people probably
come
see
as
us.
Like a younger like business owner though. No, like we it's like I don't know if there's many business owners that look like us.
We look like a little, I mean, give or take, we look like a little hoodlum or like a little thug, but like when they hear us speak and they hear our conviction in our words and everything like that, it's just different, right? But I mean, once I get to, I don't know, when I get to a certain point, you know, you'll probably see the front part. I got the back part or whatever.
So when we see you with the neck tattoo, you know he getting money. You know you get money when you got that.
I know, it's funny because me and Brian spoke about that. It was like when we first started getting tattoos, like when we were 22, 23, and he asked me, he was like, Steve, like, you ever gonna go ahead and get the front of your neck tattoo? He's like, I always want to do that. He's like, I think it'll be sick. And I was like, you know, let me get to a certain amount of money first, and then you can do it. Yeah. And then like we got to a certain point, we got the back of the head tattooed, and I was just like, this is sick. Yeah. You know, and then I want to keep going and going and going and going, but you know, the time. It takes, 8-9 hours?
Yeah, and I do double sessions, so because I got to fly out to Santa Rosa and do it, so I'm doing like 2 8 to 10 sessions like back to back. So and it'd be tough, like if it's somewhere that really hurts, like the ribs, like that stuff's crazy, like back to back, bro. Like so, like I really like it, and at the same time, like I don't know if I was like, it hurts a lot, first of all, and it took a lot of time.
Did you use numbing cream?
Never.
I use numbing cream. I use numbing cream.
Never. It may be like if it was like created when I was like first getting tatted, but like I already got this far. Like I'm 8 years in, I'm about to be like done. I'm like, oh, let me use it on this last So like I don't use it personally, and I also heard that it wears off and it starts hurting even more. So I don't do that anymore. So no.
Okay. No, it's good. You know, love talking about the tattoos and everything like that. Now, as far as like the businesses, like your future and what you're looking at, are you looking to invest more into businesses, or are you also looking to invest into like real estate? Because with me, right, I hear this all the time, and I'm surrounded by all realtors. The most millionaires are made through real estate. The most billionaires are made through private equity and businesses. For you, are you looking to keep doing businesses? Or are you looking to? I know that you got into real estate as well.
Yeah, I got into real estate.
What are some
past
of
like
the,
2 years?
What are some of the future things that you're looking at? You want to keep doing businesses, or you want to keep doing real estate?
So I have these 2 properties right now. One in LA, and then I have a 24 unit that I just got in Miami.
Miami.
Yeah. So you know how Miami be. It'd be great. So I'm gonna see how these go, right? I'm gonna see if these go. The LA one, it's cool, but like it's in a nobody's you're part of the real estate, really, right?
Yeah.
So nobody's buying,
right?
Nobody's selling,
right?
It's tough. So right, so like I'm gonna see how that goes, and then the rent control, everything. So the reason why we went to Miami was because they don't have rent control, and one of our biggest problems was getting the tenants out to because we were buying broken down properties, so we could get the tenants out, remodel, and get the profit on the renovations. So, but if you can't get the tenants out, then you're stuck, right? They're locked in, rent control. They can't raise them. You go to Miami, there's none of that, right? You just serve an eviction or whatever. Most of them are month to month, and they have to get out. Yeah, so like once they get out, it's a cold game, but people are doing it, and that's the business, right? So they get cleared out, we remodel them, and then we do Section 8 on them. Right, because you get paid for sure. You get paid for sure on them from the government, and then they just owe a little part, right? But they're always gonna pay because they don't want to. You don't want to lose that Section 8, right? So the tenant's always gonna pay because they don't want to lose that Section 8 because like it's almost like free, right? You're living free, and it's a nice apartment, right? Things like that. So I'm gonna see if these go, and then if they do, then I might stick with the real estate, like because right now, like my other business, I dabbled first, right? I I met a dude through my other business partner who was doing something first. I seen it was successful. They flipped it right before everything happened. So it's like, I'm gonna get into that too. So I met him through there, and then I even brought in some of my friends, like, hey, like, come in with me on this building, right? So like now we're sort of investing together with my boys too, which is also sort of a weight on my shoulders too, because if it doesn't work out, I brought them into this, right? But it's like teaching us about real estate a little bit at first together.
Yeah.
And then my goal is like eventually we could just do our own thing about it, right? But like I heard from a lot of people, when you do it on your own, like you learn so much and lose so much on like the construction, like because they're getting over on you for the most part, right?
Right.
Like so you gotta know what you're talking about. And if I don't know what I'm talking about, like I'm gonna pay the fee for that.
Right.
Right. So I'm gonna see if that goes or not, and I really do want to stick with that. Cause I think they also have a saying something about like millionaires and billionaires are made like most are made during like the fall of an economy or something like so right now like is the best time to get into it, because then when it's up, then it's really up, you know. We all gonna have tattoos at that point, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna see how that goes. But if not, I'm honestly more on the side of like almost like making sure that all my current businesses are tight, seeing if what I want to do with them at that point, buying in more or buying or getting bought out, things like that. I might want to get bought out on a few projects, consolidate, focus on the ones that I'm better at, of course, or more involved in, things like that for the future. So I don't know if I'm looking to invest everywhere just yet, but like I'm always listening, and I always have my eyes on things, and like even before my mom's restaurant, like I would go up to my boys who like to do something, you know, like they like to cook, and I'd be like, bro, let's like open a restaurant for you, like let's do this or that, right? Or like even with my boys recently, like we're just trying to like, they want to become business owners, right? So like as a group we could all pitch in. It's not really about the profit as much as like we're gonna open a business together, doing things like that. I'm always learning. I'm always learning, right? Like learning, and like with that, like I'm still learning, and I could lead a little bit too, but also like, and then I could run into some mistakes. Like all of it's about learning and seeing where it takes me. Cause I might find out I'm not good at that, you know. I might want to do something else.
Right.
Always investing.
You? I mean, as far as like any investments, like, you know, real estate. You know, I almost got into real estate with a past business partner, but I just thought about it. You know, people were just like, you know, the cash flow on there is like, it's a lot slower. You build equity, you gain equity off of that house, and it's just like, okay, cool. That's slow game. You know, you can become a millionaire like that. But I'm like, you know, I'm high energy, and like I know how to run a business, and I can flip that in and, you know, do this and do that, and then really just grow up from there. You know, so for me, I always want to just kind of get into business or whatnot, and always want to be able to like invest and buy other businesses. And I guess with you, as far as like the businesses that you plan to get into later on, are you looking to do like be an investor, or are you looking to like possibly run it yourself as well?
I think it depends on what it is, like I said, but I would always like to run stuff myself, you know, because obviously when you want to invest in something, like you're getting taxed on your money a little bit, you know, because you're paying for what you think they're worth. Right. As if you're running it, it's more like, these are the costs. It's almost like at cost compared to like buying something, right? Buying jewelry. Because like if I'm investing, like we're like giving an estimation of how much your company is worth or something, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a little different. So, and you lose that way. But it depends like what I'm doing at the time. But yeah, like real estate, it's real slow money, you know? Like, like you got to put in the money and just like say bye-bye. Like, you feel me? Like, you don't know when you gonna get it. And usually when you get it, they tell you got to flip it into a new property, because like, so you don't get taxed on it.
30%.
So then I'm like, okay. So like, it's more like see this money when I'm like almost about to die. Like, you feel me? Like, and especially like, it depends on where everyone's at. But like, I don't feel like I'm like at that point in my time where I have money to like play with like that yet. Like I need to see some type of return.
The cash flow.
Yeah, I need to see that, because like I'm not trying to make like a 20-year investment just yet. You know, like I need to have like cash is king, and I need to be ready, you know?
Right.
Like in case like a great opportunity comes apart, right? So like real estate's always there. So I feel like whenever you have some extra money or something like that, or I have extra money that I could feel like I could do without, you know, like instead of buying this jewelry for real, then I'll go, you know, I'll do this, you know, I'll put this away, and like I know it's good there. But if I'm trying to like, that's with investing, but I put that with investing. But like, if I want to make money, it's like, you got to run your own business. You got
Right.
it's your show. And you got to put on the show, and you got to run the show, and you got to close the show. Right.
Is there something that right now that you're looking to possibly get into? Like, I'm sure you got your eyes open for other, businesses or other opportunities. Is there something right now? You said that like the best opportunities, and I agree with you, which are going to be within a downed economy. Like, is there something that you got your eye on?
Not really. Like, the only thing that I've been thinking about recently was getting into like the actual stock market, like actually like as far as like making money.
Bitcoin?
No. So like, let me tell you, because like I put like, it was the age of Dogecoin, right? Whatever. So like Dodge.
Did you have like an NFT too? Right.
Yeah, I bought into NFTs.
Yeah.
I think I put in a certain amount of NFTs with our buddy too, Johnny.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay,
like Johnny.
Yeah.
So I trusted him with that too. So like, he better come back with some money.
You
better come back with some money, bro. Like, you talking about? Yeah, he's like, look at this house. And it's like in like this world of Sims or something, bro. I'm like, all right, here's $10,000, brother. He's like, I need to buy more coins. Like now that I think of it, I need to talk to Johnny after this, bro. But like,
tell us about that story. Like, I never got into Bitcoin. I mean, I got into Bitcoin like for certain other little things that I need to pay for.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know about that. But like, did you make money, lose money? What did you do there?
So, no, it was like, I wish I had my phone so I could see exactly what it was. But it was like Dodge. So Dogecoin, Dodge. Have you heard of Dogecoin? It's like, it was like, well, yeah. So it got off. And I remember like, it was that exact day that I was like, I need to put money in this. Like, Like, it's going up. Like, we caught it. Like, and if I got into it on time, I would have caught up. I got on it, but I didn't. It was my first time I downloaded the Robinhood account. I tried to like, I was like, I want to put like a lot of money on this. So I put a certain amount on this, and then it's like, okay, the money will be moved to your Robinhood account in 5 to 7 days. I'm like, oh, come on. 5 to 7 days is done. Like, it was done by that night. You feel me? Like, it was done. So like, if I had gotten at that point, like, I was trying to, and that's also the thing about like me wanting to getting into it now, a hesitation, and also me learning was at like, I wanted to do it to make fast money, like I was like, oh, this is like legal fast money, bro. It's like gambling though, right? So I didn't think of that, but I was like 5 to 7 days, the money will come over. I'm like, damn, like the train has already left. So it came over, and then I remember like I think I transferred like 30K into the account or something, like to want to, and I wanted to put that on Dogecoin, like think about it, like Doge. But when I got into my Robinhood account, I'm like, nah, I'm not messing with like the crypto. So I started like asking my boys what I should put my money in, right? So I put like 1,000 in this. Like I put 10,000, like 1,000 to Tesla, 1,000 to, they said pick what you like. I did that, and I had 20K left. I'm trying to hit. I'm trying to hit. So like I put it on something my boy had told me about. He's like, the earnings are coming out. Like, I don't know what that means, bro. Like, it's lit. Like, the earnings are coming out. Like, he's like, it's about to jump. The stock's about to jump. Like, I'm putting 20K on this. I put it in, and then like the earnings come out, nothing happens, and like a few months later, it just drops. And I'm like,
that's Bitcoin, right?
No, it wasn't Bitcoin. It's just like it was just like some stock.
Okay.
Some stock at that point. It was hot. And this was all during COVID, right? So like stuff was going up, like down, like up and down. So like you thought everything was up, and right now obviously it's so much further down than it was over there. So I lost like 90% of my funds. I got like a few bands in there from that. Yeah. Like, cause then I sold like the small ones, like Tesla. It was making money too. Like the like really like Tesla and the other ones were making me money. I was like, I'm selling. And then I would buy like something like Ethereum, like ETC, like Ethereum Classic. Like, I don't know, like it's going to pop. Like, like people are like hop on. So I'm like, I'm gonna hop on, like doing that. So like, that was my first experience with the stock market, I would say. And it was a terrible one. Right. So like, I did it so wrong that like I'm so sick like thinking of like going into my Robinhood, because I look at it, I'm like, no, in my head I'm like, oh, it's gonna pop still, like sometime, like it's still gonna go up, let me break even and then I could take it out. But like I should really just start over, and I really want to do it the right way, like really look at it and learn it and like do. I think I would enjoy that, but at the same time, like it's a lot of work. I watch people who do it, and it's like very intensive. And with what I got going on, I don't know if it's the best route, but that's what I had thought about doing too.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. I mean, for me, I've looked into it, but I've always heard out like with other people and like just people that are very successful, focus on what you're good at, right? And I think for me, I'm good at running businesses. So for me in my future, that's what I plan to keep doing. I'll just, open up some more moving companies, get into like the service industry, maybe later on invest into something else. But we'll kind of see how that kind of goes. Kind of coming on to like, we've been, I think it's so much easier for me and you to talk because this is probably one of the longest podcasts that I've ever had going, because, we've known each other and we've seen each other grow up and like we've seen the successes of each other, kind of, seeing on your end and seeing the success on my end, and I love it. That's why I wanted for you to really get on here. But, kind of coming to the end of this, what are some things that you like to do on your personal time besides businesses and entrepreneurship?
Well, nowadays I'm just like, I have started to get onto my like health, like fitness level, but like we've always went to the gym, right?
Yeah.
Like we've always, but like it was always about like working out, like lifting weights. But I think like getting into me and my fiance have been really like trying to hone in on our fitness and our health, like eating better, doing things like, and I enjoy that. Like it might sound boring to some people, but like enjoying like trying to eat healthy, learning about fasts, but working out, but not just weightlifting, getting cardio in now, doing other things and staying healthy. Cause like I mean, that's like when I really think about it, when I sit back and think about it, like that's all I do. I try to get into reading and stuff. But on my free time, like I feel like my mind is always going so much. Like on my free time, I really just like to kick it back, smoke, like smoke and then wind it down. Because throughout the day, my head's always like going, I try to lay down and sleep or something. Like my head's still going. So on my relaxation time, I like to like just smoke, chill, wind down. But yeah, on the health factors, like focusing on our actual health, getting doctor checkup, things like this, like things that she's actually getting me into as well. She's getting to the nursing industry, keeping up with my health, because at the end of the day, like you see people who are really successful that pass away or like are really sick,
right?
And like you really can't enjoy this stuff like unless you're healthy, right? So like I think like on my free time, I really enjoy like fitness, like focusing on myself, and then partying too, like like pop a few bottles still, like a lot of bottles too, but like to party, go out still. Like I still enjoy that stuff. Like I don't think I would say I changed, but there's a lot of stuff that I still haven't changed from when I was like 10 years ago. I look back and I'm just doing it, but I'm enjoying it more. There's less stress on me now. Like I feel like I could actually like do it. I'm not like working to party, like now I'm starting to party to celebrate things,
right.
Celebrate achievements, so like that's what I really like. All of it, like that's what I still like eating out, all those things, like enjoying exactly. So
Awesome. I love it, man. Thank you for getting onto the podcast, my man. And if somebody wants to, find you or anything like that, you have Facebook. I know you don't got Instagram or anything like that.
No, I don't got anything. Like you're just gonna have to catch me. You have to see me outside. But you could follow the Instagram page Phenom & Co. and find me on there, contact me on there. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you for having me on the podcast. I mean, this is pretty cool. Like you said, like it's cool. On the drive here, like I said, I was really like thinking about it. And I was telling Kathy for real, like you really put a lot of work into like your craft, and you work on it. So I really want to give you your flowers because like you really run this business, right? So like this is like you're a better man than I could be, because like I'm trying to invest in stuff. I'm trying to like be lazy wise, but you really put the sweat in this, and I think it's gonna come back to pay, because I seen like we came a long way like that, and that's why I think this is more nostalgic than anything. Now it's like we get to sit here, like that's crazy, like my fiance out there taking a picture of us doing your podcast, talking about my successes, your successes,
right?
Like look how far we've come, bro.
Exactly.
Like so like I really enjoyed this. Thank you,
man. We'll leave it off of that. Thank you, guys.